Hello, I'm Rob. I've spoken to most of you, I think, that have been trialing Findie or Findie, depending on how you want to say it. But I just thought I'd do a quick demo to explain how Findie works and show off some of the new features that I've been working on in the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to assume no knowledge. I'm going to assume you don't know how Findie works, and then I'll take you through um, the concepts, how to get the most out of it, how to find new stores, basically. So if I switch over here, so this is a store listing in Findie. So that's one of the basic things. Findie knows a lot of information about a lot of stores, about 5 or 6 thousand independent food stores in the UK. So when you land on a store, you can see the store name, the store type. So in this case, Superette on Upper Street, lovely high-end deli. Um, we see that it's a deli. We see that the vibe is trendy. So you might see things like traditional or modern. In this case, trendy. It likes new brands and new things. And the physical size of the store, not always perfect because sometimes stores are located in other stores or in markets, but in this case, accurate. So we know that it's a small store at 65 square meters, which might influence how good a prospect you think it is. You can see the address and click through to maps or directions to get to see where the store is physically. There's a few other attributes, like in this case, we know that Superette sells online and has a freezer. So if you're a frozen brand, that's obviously very important to know if a store has a freezer or not. You can click through to their website, their Facebook, their Instagram, things like that. Next thing you see down here is the automated summary. So this is based on all of the information that we have. So we look at the store's website, we look at the data about the area that the store is in, so the demographics, the income, the nature of kind of how diverse and cosmopolitan that area is, or things like that. And we pull it all together and summarize it. And so you can read this summary, which is helpful. It will tell you something about the store and try to estimate how good it is for a new brand. But this summary is also used as the basis for store comparisons. So we do a lot of things to try and find stores with similar descriptions. So if you like the look of this store, you can find some similar ones, which you'll see in a second. Scrolling down and sticking to the left column, because I'll explain the right one in a second, you can see the map and street view. In this case, in a lot of cases, it's not going to point you right at the store. It's just going to drop you outside it. So you might need to do a little bit of looking around to say, okay, whereabouts is the store? So not perfect, but I don't know how how I can get that perfect. You can see nearby stores, so just literally straight line distance. You can see the stores that are in the local area. If you scroll down, you can see um, the AI's estimate of how good this is for new brands. In this case, it thinks Superette is great. Some of the area information, like the household income, the nature of the area that's nearby, a screenshot of the website, which is quite helpful for assessing the vibe of a store. Has it got interesting brands that are like you front and center? Does it look like something that's not the sort of place that would stock your brand? As I say, this is where you'll see stores that sound similar. So this is stores where the similarity of the descriptions is high. So maybe they're talking about similar product categories or similar products. Maybe they're talking about similar values and approaches to sourcing ingredients and working with brands. And then stores in similar areas. So this is areas that have similar household incomes, demographics, things like that. So in this case, other stores in Islington, but also North London, Central London, areas that are like Islington are mostly in London. So you'll see other stores in London, but it's different parts of London. And then the clusters that this store is a part of. So I'll get onto clusters later. And if I go through, so that's the information in the left column is the information that Findie knows about a store, and then in the right hand column it's stuff you can do basically. So one of the things you can do is save it to a list. So I'm logged into my Honest Umami account here. So I've got Superette saved to a list called Honest Umami supporters, stores that have been really good to Honest Umami. But if you wanted to maybe think, Oh, this store seems pretty good. I'm gonna put it on a potential stockists list. A list of stores that I need to visit or contact. You can just save that, and there you go. Added Super Upper Street to potential stockists, so that you've got that on a list. And we'll talk about lists later. Here we've got brands that it's known to have stocked. So from other people that have uploaded their stockist lists, you can tell what brands this store stocks, which again is a kind of indication of whether it might be a good store for you. We've got store visits, so you as a Findie user can log a visit and take photos and record what you liked or didn't like about a store. So in this case, I've recorded a visit that I did back in April 2024 to Super Rare, took some photos, uploaded those, which is really helpful for other people to understand what the store is like. Being able to click into that and see, okay, these shelves, perfect. These are exactly the sorts of brands that I like to hang around near. So as more people use Findie, it's obviously only a handful of people at the moment, but the hope is that that will become a really useful resource, a sort of crowdsourcing of store visits and photos. And then if you haven't visited the store, but you just want to add a comment, you can easily just drop a comment on any store. Maybe you don't have photos, don't have detailed information, but you just want to say, oh, these guys are great. Make sure you speak to Bob or Alice or whatever. This is the person to get in touch with. Just sharing intel and helping out your fellow challenger brands. So that's the starting point of Findie, I think, like information that it has on particular stores. The other thing you're going to want to do is find new stores, prospect for new stores. So there's 3 ways you can do that. I'm going to show you the first, which is looking at stores that are similar to your current stockists. So what I've done with Honest Umami is uploaded my stockist list. So if I click into Honest Umami, you can see here that I've uploaded just a list of 40 odd stockists, and I can see them here. So useful for keeping track of the brands that stock you. But once you've done that, what you can do is go into the Insights tab up here, and it will tell you interesting things, hopefully interesting things about your stores, about your stockists. So in this case, based on just those 43 stockists that I've uploaded and that it has information about, we can see the types of neighborhood that we over or under index in. So Honest Umami over indexes in inner city cosmopolitan, which you might not be surprised about, highly qualified professionals, things like that, constrained renters, so maybe like young renting populations. We don't really, we under index in areas, primary sector workers, aging urban communities. These people are not buying relatively expensive tubs of MSG, unsurprisingly. You can see what income bracket you over or under index in. So in this case, again, we are for the affluent people and less for the less affluent people. You can see where you're stocked in terms of store type, and again, where that over or under index is in. So if fishmongers are I can see here, fishmongers are 1% of the overall stores in the database, but they're 7% of our stockists. So that tells us something that we're kind of over-indexing with fishmongers by about 6 times more than you would expect. It will tell you towns for expansion. So this will tell you areas that have a high number of suitable stores for you that you're not currently stocked in. So these represent opportunities. These are places you should be going to find new stores. And then it will pull out some potential new stockists for you. So it will say, these are stores that you've told me that you're not stocked in that are really similar to the stores that you are stocked in. So you can click through these and have a look at them and say, okay, yeah, this is great. I'm going to add that to a list, or add that to a list, or add that to a list. So those are the insights that you can get if you upload your stockists. It will tell you stuff about where you're currently stocked and recommend new places that are similar to the places that you're currently stocked. So that's the first way that you can find new stores, by uploading your stockists and finding similar ones. The second way I'm going to show you is through search. So if we go up here and click stores, or it's the home page, so click the logo. This is a kind of way of digging into stores and finding new ones. So the direction I'm trying to take Findie in is for everything to be kind of conversational. It feels like people are really used to this from the world of ChatGPT and things like that. And so it feels like quite a natural and fluent interface for digging into things. So first thing to search for is something broad, I guess. So in this case, I'm going to search for farm shops near Manchester. So that's a store type and a location. It will figure out what you're looking for and say, okay, right, I'm going to try and find some farm shops that are near the kind of Manchester area. So in this case, we get 29 results back. So you can see we've got 29 stores that match our query. If we want to, we can then refine that. So we can say only ones with online stores. So that's looking at that attribute we have that knows whether a store sells online or not. So that's filtered our 20 odd stores down to 16. So you can dig into those. And if maybe they're a set of stores that you really like, you can add them to a list. So I'm going to say add these to the list. Manchester farm shops. Do that. There we go. So it's created the list Manchester farm shops and added those 16 stores to it. So that would work if you had a search that had 200 stores or 500 stores, or it can be really broad if you want. So this is a way of digging into things. If you want to start over, just hit start over. It will clear out the search and the search history, and you can start again. So maybe you want to go delis in London, or I'll show you some other things. So maybe you can say large stores in London that, excluding Whole Foods. So Whole Foods is in the database, but we're not interested in those. So that will get us 240 stores near London that are large and very large. So handy. I'm going to save these to the list large London stores. Perfect. Created a new list for me. And if you wanted to add them to an existing list, just give the name of a list that already exists and it will add them to the list rather than creating them. So once you've kind of searched for things, you get results here. You can look at them. You can look at them on a map. So if you kind of click the zoom buttons, you can zoom in, maybe see, okay, I've searched for London, but I'm kind of interested in southwest London, so I'll go here. Okay, Gourmet Hand, interesting. Click through to these stores and click into them, see the details about them, or save them to a list, which is what we've done. So hopefully that shows how search works and can be refined and is quite useful to start getting lists of stores. So the first way of finding new stores is uploading your stockists. The second is through search, and the third is through lists. So we've just created those two lists, the large London stores and the Manchester farm shops. So if I dig into one of these lists, just click into it, I can see here are the stores that I've saved on a map. Scroll down and see them in a list form as well. And then what you get at the bottom is stores that are similar to the stores on this list. It's kind of like in Spotify where you've got a playlist and at the bottom it recommends new songs that are similar, same kind of thing. So you can scroll through here and go, okay, okay, South Staffordshire, cool, that's kind of near my area and that shop sounds good. I can hit add it adds it to the list. So if I scroll up, it's there. Scroll through, I can say, not interested in these. Cheshire Butcher, Cheshire East, perfect, near Manchester, add it to the list, perfect. If you don't like them, just reject them and it will recommend more ones, although as you get through them, obviously these are the best recommendations, so they're not going to necessarily get better, but if you've got kind of different criteria, it will help you find what you like. So that helps you pull together the lists, and then once you've got a list, there's a few things you can do with it. So you can export a CSV that will export the store names and addresses for every store on this list. So if you want to then import it into a CRM or something like that, you can do that. And the final thing that's useful is you can plan a route. So we've got probably too many stores here to do in one day, but I'll show it you anyway. So you click plan a route, click through to it, say where you want to start and end. So let's say we want to, these two stores are near each other, so that's the end, and I'll set that as the start. So I kind of want to start and end in Wilmslow and do a bit of a loop, and then I calculate the route. And it's planned out a route for me that's the most kind of logical route to take those, to take in all of those stores. You can see the order that you should go to and the distance between them. So basically, start out at Brookhouse Farm Shop, go there, visit them, then set your directions for the lambing shed. That's your next one. Go there, and the summary here. This is 18 stores, 297 miles of driving, and 8 hours of driving time. 8 hours of time, including your stops. So maybe that's doable in a day, but it's probably quite a long and stressful day. So if you make shorter lists that are like, okay, this list is my plan for Monday the 5th of January, and put 5-6 stores on it that you're going to visit, you can then get the directions and it will tell you the most sensible order to visit those stores in. So there are lots of other things Findie can do, and I'll do some more videos and demos on it later, but I just wanted to do that kind of overview of the basic features and how to find new stores. I hope that's useful. Please feedback and let me know whether it makes sense and whether it's useful for you guys.